Mics are live. Oil Stream is live. And we are interrupting some really good possible CFL trade talk off the air to talk about this god-awful hockey team. Which is a little frustrating.
I don't know why we stopped the CFL trade conversation. I was enjoying that thoroughly.
We're throwing together multiplayer deals. We're sitting there talking about a team that's on the up and up, and now we got to talk about these bums on the ice, eh? Oh.
Hey-o.
No, but honestly, the road trip sucked the big one so far.
They have had a bad week.
So, yeah, it's not ideal. Anyway, the oil stream is live, the Boston Pizza oil stream. We will be live at the Capilano Boston Pizza on Wednesday for the Lock Shop and the oil stream. That's a nice one where they have that one little spot that's kind of curved on the wall.
Yeah.
And they have the table right there, a triangle table, and it's a real nice spot.
They redid that lounge recently.
Not since we were there last.
No. But it's brighter. It's nice. TV's great. I'll tell you what, Dusty. Shout out to Lisa and Jason yesterday.
Yeah, how was that?
Awesome. BP Clairview's great. Thank you to everybody who came out.
The TV in there is insane.
It is 170 inches.
170-inch TV?
So Jason and I were talking about it. He's like, he saw a BP in Quebec.
That's where he got the idea?
And they did that. And you know what it is? It's not a TV. It's essentially scoreboard technology.
What do you mean?
You know, like what scoreboards are made out of now, like Jumbotrons?
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's
seriously
the panels. It's the LED, 4K, 8K, whatever K they're at now. That picture is super crisp, and I think there's like 65-inch TVs beside it. There's the big one, and then 4 65 or 55-inch TVs beside it, and it makes those things look tiny. Great spot yesterday. Great food, great vibes. People were getting into that Blue Jays game after the
how could you not, right?
I was breaking down the gear. I was talking with Lisa a little bit after and the staff, and it was. People were dialed into the Jays game. Like all the letdown from the Oilers game when they watched and hung out there, the good vibe came back watching the Jays. So
it had to watching the Jays. The Oilers provided nothing.
Oh God,
for people yesterday.
Seriously,
they've really provided nothing on this entire road trip.
Very listless
so far, which is it's an uninspiring effort.
Yep.
Right, like it doesn't look like they look like they're playing preseason hockey still. And look, Detroit's first in their division. New Jersey's second in their division. They're not bum teams, but still, the Oilers there was no push. None.
The first period, Reed and I were just talking about it in the boardroom. We're like, there's just two teams kind of out there making passes, going back and forth. Not even great passes, to be honest with you. I don't know. Like, people are getting very frustrated. Fans are getting very frustrated with the Oilers, rightly so. Right now, I'm not worried about big picture, and I said it on the postgame show. They just had a bad week. But I don't know. It's like, you know that meme of the stick figure, and it's poking the logo, and it said, do something. That's the Oilers right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Do something. You're not doing anything.
They are doing anything.
And on the postgame show, we ran Draisaitl clips.
Yep.
And Knobloch and Kulak. Kulak was pretty honest. Knobloch too. But Draisaitl's like, it's not like we're not working hard. I came back from the clips and I'm like, no, it is like you're not working hard.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think it's the whole, man, this team is busting their balls.
They're not.
And they just can't get a break. Like maybe they're not getting many breaks right now, but they're not working too hard to get those breaks either.
Even the mistakes they made, it's like, what are you, and right away, Bouchard comes to mind. I know he's the whipping boy right now, but he's earned it. It's like, what are you doing out there?
Well, he's not putting up points. I can tell you that.
He doesn't have one yet.
Which is crazy. We'll get to that in the numbers game. I mean, this is a really
bad week.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because we'll get into your Popeyes headlines in just a second, and that'll be Wallman off the IR. How much does that help things? But they've had bad starts. We know this. Yeah. We've seen them have poor starts. Does this poor start feel at all different to the other ones for you?
I don't think it's a poor start. And again, it was a terrible 4-game stretch. To be honest,
their only thing on the road trip was Skinner stealing one against the Rangers.
Correct.
Right? Like,
no, it's not. I don't think yet it's as bad as 2 years ago. Obviously, that 2-9-1 start was horrid. Last year was kind of up and down, right? Like, what were they? 3-1 through 7, I believe, and like they got their asses kicked the first week, 6-0 out of the gates to Winnipeg. I think they followed up with bad loss to Vancouver, and then Chicago came in here and beat them, and then they finally beat Philly, and they were down. Remember their thing early last season was they'd be down a couple goals every game, and then they'd have to claw their way back. That was kind of the early MO of the team. This year, it's just like general malaise and disinterest.
That's why I feel, because it's very easy to say, don't worry, this is how they start. Don't worry, this is how they, but it feels a little bit different for me. And I think it's because there's so many new faces. Like last year's start, you're like, oh, this is the whole group pretty much that was together last year. Mm-hmm. Stanley Cup Finals hangover for the whole group. See how but this year you've got Savoy, who wasn't around the beginning of last year. Tomaszek wasn't around. Philp wasn't around. Howard wasn't around. There's a bunch of these guys. Roslovic wasn't around. Like
Wallman.
there's Well, we haven't seen Wallman yet, but like to me, it feels a little bit different because we knew that other group had it, right? Like we know that group together would find their way out of it. We don't know if this group has it. We know that the core guys have had it in the past, but this team as a whole, we don't know if they have it, which I think is why, and it's very early, don't get me wrong, but I think that's why I feel a little bit different about this start than last year's start.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I think deep down they do have it. I mean, what we're asking for or wondering right now is, when is this team going to play inspired hockey again? Because they did it against Vancouver. They played good. I mean, we give them credit for a good game and a half when you went with the two home games to start the season. You're like, well, outside of 30 minutes against Calgary, they've played good going into a road trip where they have a real opportunity to win a bunch of games. They don't play well. They still get the win against New York. Like you said, Stu Skinner stands on his head. He's the star. You're like, good, goaltending showing up. Now let's see the other guys wake up. And then they go and they absolutely stub their toe in on Long Island. Then they do the same thing against New Jersey. Last night against Detroit, you're going, did you guys know that the puck had dropped? What the hell's going on here? I don't know. Part of me still thinks that it might just be a bad week, right? Whatever circumstance on the road.
And it might be.
But really, outside of goaltending and Noah Philp, where are the positive indicators?
There's not really many.
The power play sucks.
Yeah.
Your top guy's just kind of out there for a twirl.
Yesterday, prior to the Draisaitl goal, they had not scored a 5-on-5 goal yet. Draisaitl, McDavid. McDavid has 4 5-on-5 assists.
Great.
Through the first 6 games of the year.
He doesn't shoot the puck in prime shooting areas.
Yeah.
I think back to that Islanders game. It's like, was it Riddick was flopping all over the place? All you had to do is fire it.
There,
passing
over, yeah.
Dustin, you're passing to Troy Stetcher?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, he just seems off.
You're passing to Troy Stetcher?
Troy Stetcher? We're talking about Troy Stetcher?
Troy Stetcher. Yeah, you're right. Maybe he is off.
All right, 780-218-9999. We'll continue with this conversation. We'll get to a bunch of your text messages. I do quickly just want to hit on your Popeyes spicy headlines, because this is good news for the Edmonton Oilers. If we're looking for bright spots on the road trip, maybe Wallman coming off the IR is the only one right now. But Popeyes right now at all of their Popeyes locations, 3-piece bone-in for $8. 3 pieces, bone-in, juicy chicken, just $8 at all Popeyes locations. If you haven't had a good old slab of Popeyes chicken, no better time to do it than right now. 3 pieces, big pieces, $8. Wallman off the IR, Tommy. What do you expect? How much is this going to help things?
You know what I would do? Take Stetcher out of the lineup, or Emberson. I mean,
Stetcher, I think.
I think Stetcher. And again, I give Troy Stetcher all the credit in the world for doing everything he physically can to have a positive impact. But he's limited, right? He's not a big guy. He gets bounced around, gets bullied a little bit on the ice, but he gives you everything. He's got ton of heart, and I think guys admire that. But Troy Stetcher coming out for Jake Wallman going in, it's just it makes the back end better. Hopefully that wakes Darnell Nurse up a little bit. See if they can have a little bit of chemistry. Maybe take some of the pressure off of Evan Bouchard. I mean, oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
We can't be saying that about Bouchard anymore. He makes $10 million.
I know. And so
What a god-awful start. We'll get to it a little bit more with the numbers.
It's good that he's back, and it's taken a little bit longer than anticipated. I am concerned, though, and I had a conversation with some people at one of the games about Jake Walman, because I think he's a good defenseman, nice guy to talk to. And
they obviously think he's a good defenseman. They committed to him big time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, how hurt is he going to get? How often is he going to get hurt? Because he's been nicked. I remember last year, I interviewed him one-on-one prior to a game, the morning skate, and then he was out for like a couple of weeks leading into the playoffs. Didn't play that night, and I went to him when he finally came back in the lineup. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude, I didn't know you were injured. He goes, I expected to play that night, but we reviewed. I went and got checked out, and I wasn't doing good, and this was bothering me, and I'm like, well, you're out for like 2 or 3 weeks. Like, what the hell's going on? He's like, I don't know. It's just bizarre. So
you're just worried that he might not be able to stay
get hurt a lot, and that's not good.
But hopefully not. I mean, the one thing that his return hopefully will help is getting the puck up to the forwards. Like when you were watching that game, I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was. I listened to a bit of the game on the radio as well because Marshall had football yesterday, and then watched. Somebody pointed out that the forwards got to be coming back to help these defensemen with the puck.
Yeah,
it was on video. Maybe it was just Louis. Anyway, pointed out, it might have been DeBrusque at the beginning of a period when they were looking at stuff, because like there was a play, Nurse had the puck, and they kind of just focused on that play. Oh, it was probably an intermission breakdown. That's what it was. Anyway, he had nowhere to go with the puck. Like the forwards were all up the ice.
Right.
He had nowhere to go with the puck.
Cheating for offense.
This is the thing. Like a lot of people are talking about how they're not being able to generate much offense right now, and I think it's because there's sort of a disjointed unit coming out of the zone, right? There's not a lot of quick passes happening coming out of the zone. It's more of like, get up there. I'm going to try to get one. Like, I don't know. It just feels a bit different this year.
Gager, I point to this a lot because I think there's a lot of merit to what Joaquin said. It was 2 seasons ago. Him and I think he was doing a pre and post game with me. And he goes, Tommy, watch the first 5 minutes and see how the defense passes the puck. If they're crisp and they get it up ice and they got good support from the forwards and they're getting in the zone, they should have a good night. That's when this team's at its best. When they don't is when they get into trouble. And I think even still to this day, that rings true. We were watching that Islanders game at BP, and I'm sitting there, I'm looking, I'm like, they can't string a couple passes together.
Yeah.
They should beat the Islanders. That was a great indicator. And I mean, I feel like the last couple games, I got to watch the first period of the Jersey game before I went to McMahon. But yesterday, especially, I'm just like, what are they doing? Even when they get into the offensive zone, it doesn't seem like there's purpose. It's just kind of like, oh, we're in the, okay, what are we going to do? Maybe cycle. Oh, no support. Oh, can't find a guy. Oh, back check now.
Well, Walman comes with some good offensive instincts.
Yeah.
So hopefully Walman can help them out a little bit. But that's your Pop Ice headlines. Walman is off the IR today, and we'll see what that does for this group here over the next little while. All right, let's get to some of your messages. We got to talk about this shuffling of lines, which is even like a lot for Knobloch here right now. But let's get to some of your texts. If you're watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us. We would really appreciate that. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. Mark Lanigan says this coaching staff doesn't give Savoy a shot in the top 6. Howard I'd like to see there too, but probably should be sent down right now and play on the top line. This one is in from Chester over on YouTube. The problem with thinking you can flip a switch is that it works right up until the point when it doesn't. Let's see here. This one in from Bonnie Dune Rod today. It says, for a team that went to the Stanley Cup final for consecutive seasons, there were too many changes this offseason. The ex-Oilers always haunt them when they play them. Zero accountability with some of the veteran players too. Yeah, Connor Brown burying a shorthanded breakaway.
You knew that was going to happen.
That's a bit of a tough one. Boosh at the blue line, just sort of swiping at it, then turning around and chasing again.
And the guy that was falling just slightly nudges it.
Yeah, I know.
And Boosh whiffs on it.
Caught in no man's land.
Yeah.
That was a tough one.
To me, he has not been reading off of what's going on in front of him on the power play that well. I mean, that goal, first of all, don't dangle a guy at center ice when you're the last man.
Well, that
was ridiculous.
But on the other one, the Connor Brown one, McDavid and Drysdale were like passing back and forth.
Yeah,
Then they lose it, and then it's gone, and it's back in the net.
Well, that just makes it even worse. But then overcommitting, not protecting the middle of the ice. Like it's just like, dude, what happened to the guy that was playing in the playoffs and dialed it in after the first few games of the first round? Because Bouchard woke up then, and he was great, and it's just like his motor doesn't start till like late December, early January, and very, very frustrating. I think I broke it down on the post-game show after the Islanders loss. It's like, when he's not a young defenseman anymore.
No.
He's been here for 6 years.
Yes.
When do you start, or when do you take that next step and just like figure it out? I have to start well and play my game from day one of the season, not just casually tiptoe into the season and then show up in December and like, oh, there he is. He now takes on defensive responsibility and is sharp. It's like, no, he doesn't do it.
Has he been here for 6 years?
Well, the lockout
around it for 6 years. The 1 year, remember,
Pandemic
they were
year.
like probably shouldn't have
Played
should have been
15.
playing him. Yeah, that one.
He didn't want to go down to Bakersfield, right? And I get it. He was ready to take the step, and they had the taxi squad, all that weird stuff. And he worked with Jim Playfair a lot, like every day at practice. I would watch him because there was nothing to do. Everything was locked up.
Yeah.
So I'd sit at the rink, and Booch is still on the ice, like 20 minutes after everybody else, working with Jim Playfair. He put in the time.
Yeah.
And then it's just like,
so he had 14 games that year. Then he's got 4 full seasons under his belt.
Yeah.
81 games, 82 games, 81 games, 82 games. He doesn't miss time, which is good.
Yeah.
Doesn't really put himself in harm's way, which is why he doesn't miss time, I think.
It's a very nice way to put it.
But like, he's almost 400 games now in the National Hockey League. And I'm starting to think that Bouchard you see now is pretty much the Bouchard you're going to get.
Which is frustrating.
Can be brilliant offensively, hasn't been so far this year. Can be pretty good defensively 85% of the time. But the game that he had against the Islanders, I think even 5 years from now, Bouch still has those types of games.
That is super
I think
frustrating.
it's just the way that he's wired, where maybe they happen less often, but I just think, and you pay him and you have to live with these, and you do because he had 82 and 67 points the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But I don't think that part of his game is ever going to go away.
That's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And I don't want to believe that, but I think what you just said has some truth to it, unfortunately. And somebody had texted into one of the post-game shows in the last week, and they said, who would you compare Bouchard to from Oilers of the past? And the two guys that came up were Justin Schultz and Jeff Petrie, but Bouchard's been here and in the league way longer than those guys were when the Oilers cut bait on both of them. Right? So he should be at that point in his career where he sort of figures out both ends of the ice. I know he's excellent offensively, but it was kind of at that point, like you said, about 400 games. Like the Oilers cut bait on Petrie pretty early, and then he really found himself in Montreal, right?
Yeah.
Defensively, a little bit of physicality, had the
Montreal,
offense.
yeah.
He was very good in Montreal. And then Schultz became a steady defenseman with the Penguins. He wasn't a top pairing guy. There was Letang there was other guys. But he kind of solidified his game. And was he great in his own zone? No. Was he ever tough? No. But he kind of figured it out. And it was 4 or 5 years into his career. Bouchard, we're at 4 or 5 years into his career.
This is his fifth full year.
We're sitting there going like, when does he turn on the defensive side of his game and stop making the dumb mistakes with the puck offensively?
Yeah, like I don't think he's a train wreck defensively. It's some of the decision making and controller dying at awkward times that you're like,
that's a good way to describe it.
Man, like,
why did you do that?
It's tough when you play pretty well for 95%. And then the 5% you don't, it's like drastic. You're like, oh, man.
And what exacerbates it even more right now is the fact that he has zero offense.
Well, that's why I was going to go with the Play Alberta numbers game right now for Play Alberta. Play Alberta, title sponsor of Edmonton Sports Talk across the whole day, 12 hours. Check out our EST specials page over at playalberta.ca. We'll have a bunch of stuff on the Oilers up there for tomorrow. We've got a number of different things on the go tonight. Mike Evans touchdown, Gibbs touchdown, Montgomery touchdown, plus 392. We got some game 7, Vladdy Guerrero, 2+ total bases, Jays to win, plus 182. So there's 4 different things up there now. Jays play of the day still to come. The grandest of parlays from the DJ and Den still to come as well. But this is the numbers game for Play Alberta. Download the Play Alberta app today. I think I was on Wednesday because I wasn't here Friday. Wednesday, I asked you at Subway. I said, so McDavid doesn't have a goal and Bush doesn't have a point yet. When does that change? And Tommy, I tell you, man, they played 3 games since then. I can't believe I'm asking it again. But like, here we are.
I want to say tomorrow night. I think I probably said next game, if I recall that correctly.
Well, because they were playing the Islanders next game. So we're like, oh, yeah, it's the Islanders for sure.
Nope, didn't happen. The opposite happened. They're brutal.
What concerns you more?
Well, right now,
Bush having no points or McDavid not having a goal yet.
Kind of McDavid.
What's he got for shots so far?
He's not shooting. He's being too cute. He's passing up. Like the perfect example of that, I think, would be that play where he tried to pass it to Stetcher. That we talked about already. It's like, what? You had it. All you had to do is fire it. You're good. This is a guy who put up 60. He should be good for 40 minimum every year. Not if you're doing that, though. It's hard to critique him, but this year, it's valid.
All right, so Connor McDavid does lead the team in shots on goal. He has... No, he doesn't. Bush does.
Wow.
Bush, so far, has 21 shots on goal. He's -5 and has zeros all the way across the board.
What about the dash?
Playing almost 25 minutes, -5, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Playing almost 25 minutes a night. Connor McDavid has 19 shots on goal. He's playing 23 and a half minutes a night. So he's got 19 shots on goal in 6 games. So just over 3 shots per game. Has the puck on his stick a ton and is playing 23 and a half minutes. Ekholm, Nuge, Nurse, and Draisaitl all have 14 shots on goal. Tomasek has 10. I mean, that's pretty much anything of significance. But for Bush, I'm surprised Bouchard has. Like McDavid, Now this is the longest stretch McDavid has gone to start his career without scoring a goal.
I think Swainer said it's like 8 games going back to last year.
Including playoffs?
Or was it AI generated something?
Okay. But he hasn't scored. This is the longest stretch to start his career without scoring a goal as well. So he used to have like a 5, 6, 7 shot night. Like just pepper the Sens. Shoot.
He's good when he has like a bit of a tough stretch and he just gets angry and you could just see like, okay, he's had enough.
Yeah.
He needs one of those nights. Tomorrow would be lovely to have one of those nights.
You know what it might take? It might take coming home, getting in front of the Edmonton media horde.
Oh, yes.
Them asking like, what's wrong with you? And then he'll get pissed and go off for 3 games or something like that. Maybe that's what it ends up happening.
Just laugh and be like, I've had tough stretches before. I'm going to be fine. Yeah.
Which he has.
Yep.
But it's tough in the offseason when he talks about scoring more goals and then comes out and doesn't have one in the first 6 games.
Yes. Mark has it in the nasty chat. He said, remember when McDavid said, I want to show I can score 50 to 60 again? Yeah, I kind of do. Now, listen. He's so good. He can do it in 76 games. Right?
Yeah, he'd have to have a heater somewhere in there probably, but I mean, he's more than capable of that as well.
Yeah.
All right, 780-218-9999, 780-218-9999. Rip City Steps says, hey, Tommy, do you know what team hasn't started slow? Carolina, 5-0. Should the Oilers trade their whole team for theirs?
No. Thank you, Step. They're regular season masters.
Steps got a positive in here, too. Oilers positives. They've obtained 75% of points available at home.
Oh, I think he put that in the chat yesterday.
That's a 123-point pace. So you've got that going for you as well. That's a positive. All right, that was the numbers game for Play Alberta. It is the Boston Pizza Oil Stream. We'll get to a few more of your comments. If you are watching over on YouTube today, hammer the thumbs up for us as well. Chester says, can you imagine the conversations right now if McDavid hadn't signed already? I hadn't even thought about that.
I don't even want to play that.
I guess we don't have to because he signed for 2 more years. But yeah, can you imagine if he didn't sign and then started without a goal in his first 6 and the team was 2-3-1?
Value dropping by the minute.
Oh, that would be weird. That would be weird. All right, Knobloch and the lines, buddy. I know he's mixed up lines in the past, but I'm pretty sure this is 6 games in, and the lines were only the same from games 1 to 2.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like there's been different combinations to start the other games, but different combinations pretty much in every other game as well. You don't want to question a guy who's only been to Stanley Cup finals and has found successes by doing this.
Yeah.
But I think we also have, was it last year we were talking about it or not? Because I've seen people text it. You know how it is online. People be like, Knobloch's done in November. And I think I think you're delusional. However, he's lasted longer than all the other guys recently, hasn't he?
Yes.
Right? He passed Woodcroft last year.
And Tip.
Yeah.
And Tip.
So he's like already got past those two guys, and those two guys were let go. And I mean, Woodcroft had a decent amount of success with the team. Like,
you know what's messed up is I'm going to look it up right away here too. But Knobloch is actually creeping up into like one of the longest tenured coaches in Oilers franchise history. He's been here for two seasons and a little bit. Or almost 2 complete seasons.
Not even 2 full seasons yet. How crazy is that?
It is insane, but it's also indicative of how coaching has gone the last decade in the NHL and with the Oilers. I mean, they had 5 coaches in like a 3-year span at one point. Listen, when the team is struggling, they go on a losing streak like they're on right now, 3-gamer, and you don't see any chemistry on the ice, and the coach in game 4 or 5 of the season, I think it was after the Rangers game where he's like, yeah, I switched up the lines. I thought we needed a spark. And I was like, holy crap. And then it happens again the next game, And you're seeing lines from the morning skates on the road, and you're going, well, it doesn't even matter. Like, I'm going to read them to you on the pregame show, but really it doesn't matter because we know, regardless of how the game is going, essentially, they're going to be jumbled up about 15 minutes in, if that.
Yeah, you have to think. I was listening to Mooner and Stoff on the radio call yesterday afternoon, and I can't remember which one of them said it, but it was basically the unit, like the forward lines look disjointed right now, and they're not really playing together. And I was like, well, why would we expect anything different? Like, this isn't last year's group again, where most of the guys had come back. They were trying to work in Skinner and Arvidsson, and we saw how that worked. And Skinner got a very brief look and then was basically in the doghouse and up and down for the rest of the year.
One period, I think.
Yeah. Like, it's, why would you not? Like, you're mixing it up. You're trying to find sparks. It's still not working. You're losing. So why would you not just sit down the 12 guys and go, listen, I'll give you 3 games together, all 4 lines. Let's just go. Like, we don't even know if any of their lines can play well together. Like, you haven't even had a long enough chance to be like, yeah. Like, even the one with Frederick, Podkolzin, and Kapanen, that was okay and got like 2 games together.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yep.
Broke it up. Like, it's... I can't be like this on other teams. It just can't be.
I don't recall this is an 18th season I've covered the Oilers. I don't recall another year where there's been such a lineup shuffle in game, every game. And you have to, like, you always want to watch lines at morning skate and practice, but you're like, well, I wonder who's with who today. Because it's always new now. I do not recall it ever being like this.
You're putting lines together to start a game and not even giving them a game.
Yeah.
Like, how do you expect the line to click in 40 minutes, and if they don't, it's on to the next one? It seems like it's lunacy.
Draisaitl was asked about lines in the playoffs last year, and he kind of laughed, and he goes, oh, they'll be changed in the middle of the game anyway.
Yeah.
And I thought that was funny because he's like, even the players know, and it's a joke to them. By the way, I did look up the all-time coaching list.
Yes.
He is 9th.
Okay.
But he's 3 games away from passing John Muckler, 7 games away from passing Tom Rennie, and 14 games away from moving into 6th ahead of Dave Tippett.
So, like, by December.
Yeah. He will be... Dusty, by the end of this season, he will be in the top 5 for games coached in Oilers history. He'll be just behind Todd McClellan, who sits fourth at 266.
Which is the equivalent of 3 seasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
Look, listen, I just to do this for the sake of it. Brian Watson coached 18 games in 1981. George Burnett lasted 35. Ralph Kruger, 48. Todd Nelson, 51. Ken Hitchcock, 62. Kevin Lowe, 82. Pat Quinn, 82. Dallas Aikens, 113. Jay Woodcroft, 133. Chris Knobloch, 157. Then Muckler, then Rennie, then Tippett, then Ted Green at 188. Todd McClellan, 266. Ronnie Lowe, 341. Mac T, 656. And then Slats, 842.
I mean, Knobloch's going to end up pretty high on that list, I think.
Yep.
I think he's going to have a decent run here. But,
so do I.
The Gourdfather is in and says, exhibition was a waste again this season. We know Connor and Dry can play together. So why weren't they tried with new guys or young guys in nothing games is a mystery. So weird. Coach Mike says, what was the point of Frederick with 97 and 29 all preseason? Is it time to try separating 29 and 97 on the PP? A lot of people are complaining about the power play being a bit of a disaster.
That's not great.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe it still feels like they're playing preseason games because the lines are still being mixed up like you would in the preseason. I mean, they make a valid point. You lock Frederick in with McDavid and Draisaitl. Did McDavid and Draisaitl play with anybody else in the preseason? I don't think so. I could be wrong. Somebody correct me, but I don't think so.
Was there a game where one of them played and the other didn't, or were they always in each game together? I think they were in each game together.
I'm pretty sure we only saw Frederick, McDavid, and Draisaitl together. That lasts not even 2 full games. And now you're trying to rotate other guys through here. And you know what? So they're not scoring very well 5-on-5.
No.
Going into that last game, they were dead last in the league in 5-on-5 scoring.
They're not great on the power play, too, by the way.
No,
17%.
Yeah. You know what? I will say this, though, about the power play. That can be linked to Zach Hyman not being there. Right? Like Zach, not all of it. It's not like all of a sudden Hyman's worth 15% on the power play. And the power play's operating a little bit differently this year.
Yeah, they're trying different stuff.
Which, I don't know how much I would have messed with the power play, but they do miss Hyman on the power play.
Of course.
Right? So
of course.
I'll give the power play a little bit of leeway just because they don't have Hyman. But the 5-on-5 stuff, I'm wondering if we should really be surprised by their struggles to score 5-on-5 for this reason. Okay. First of all, if McDavid and Draisaitl were going, things would be okay. They're not going necessarily right now 5-on-5. Here are guys, and without Hyman, here's how the rest of the roster can sort of be viewed. First of all, Thomas Savoy and Howard have never played in the National Hockey League. Philp has barely played in the National Hockey League. He's got a couple. So there's a ton of inexperienced guys there. Mm-hmm. Then you've got Roslovic, who scored before, but is brand new to this team, didn't have a training camp.
Yep.
And then the other guys, like the other day, I saw it and I just shook my head. I guess it was probably
You're getting upset thinking about it.
Before the Saturday game, it's like Draisaitl's with Podkolzin and Kapanen. And I was like, my God, here we go again. And nothing against Podkolzin and Kapanen, but let's be honest, they're bottom 6 guys who've never really produced much offense in their entire careers.
Correct.
So outside of McDavid and Draisaitl, you are looking at guys to provide Nuge, who's been doing his job.
Yes.
Outside of those guys, you are looking for offense from guys who've played a number of games and never done it, or guys who haven't played any games at all. Mangiapane would be an exception to the rule. All right, Mangiapane's another guy who he's been providing some stuff, but there's not much else that they're either inexperienced or they haven't produced offensively like 6 or 7 of the guys in this lineup.
Right.
Or they're on the back part of their career in Adam Henrique.
Yes,
that type of thing. So maybe we shouldn't be surprised that they're struggling to score when you lay it out that way.
But that's fair. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised, but I think it's also fair to say we should expect them to at least be somewhat adequate.
Who, though, from that group?
And there's veteran. I know there's young guys, but there's veteran guys. I think there's ample opportunity to step up and try to do something.
But Mangiapane has scored and Nuge has scored.
I know.
Those other guys, I don't really expect too much from. We're expecting 8 goals from Podkolzin, 6 goals from Kapanen.
Frederick got the one in New York.
Frederick got the one.
That was a nice goal.
I mean, you're still only probably expecting Frederick. I mean, you're hoping maybe you could get
15.
15.
I think that's reasonable.
But as a third-line center, it might be more reasonable to think 12. He's not getting any power play time, even with Hyman out. So that's not a thing. So
people are already giving up on Tomaszek.
Yeah, he's already. I'm not. I was furious when he was out of the lineup. I was like, what are we doing here? At least this guy's got 10 shots.
Great question.
He's getting chances. So I don't know, man. Like I think the offense might be a little bit harder to come by with the rest of the group. McDavid and Draisaitl are going to get it together. And I would love to see them get it together apart so that some of that offense can trickle down to these other guys.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm with you.
But, I mean, if I lay it out the way I just laid it out, it's kind of like, yeah, you're right. There's 4 guys that basically haven't played in the National Hockey League and a bunch of dudes that have never been expected to really do anything offensively.
But, and like Savoy doesn't have a point yet this year, Dusty. But you go, oh, he has had some good looks, and I like what he does. He seems responsible, but it's resulted in 0.
Well, and I like Savoy.
Same.
I think he looks good. You know, I hear on the broadcast like, oh, he's about to pop. But here's the thing. With a rookie, he might pop, give you 3 points in 6 games, and then not get anything for 4 or 5 more games because they're a rookie that gets no power play time because the second unit doesn't play on the power play.
Correct.
So it's tough for some of these younger guys to get any sort of ample opportunity when all the power play time goes to 5 guys. And then, you know, they're being centered by a guy who's 35 years old. You know, I think it's not ideal, but it's also got to be tough for those guys to be like, oh, who am I playing with today? You know, like how are they supposed to settle into the National Hockey League if they have different bloody line mates every single game? This is not Skinner and Arvidsson who'd been around the block, right. And you can be like, Arvidsson, go out there. You've played with a million different guys in your career in LA, and now go play with those guys. These guys are like, man, like, can I have some sort of level of consistency for line mates to maybe find my way a little bit? And those guys aren't getting that right now. And I think with younger guys, you probably need to approach it with a little bit more consistency. Maybe I'm way off. But I think that would make more sense.
Allow them to gain confidence. Some familiarity probably would help them, I would think. In theory, that sounds sound, or seems sound when it comes to that rationale. So I want to look at the time on ice for the Oilers here, for their skaters, just on the NHL website.
I'm going to spoil it for you, but it's pretty top heavy.
Shocking. Let's just go forwards. So yeah, McDavid 23.5. Draisaitl just under 23. Nuge is playing 18.35. Mangiapane 15.5 or 15.15. Roslovic is at 14.33. Then Podkolzin 13.35. Frederick 13.11. Time on ice. Matt Savoy 13.10. David Tomaszek 13.05. Henrique 12.40. Kapanen 12.17. Philp 11.24. Curtis Lazar in his one game 10.21, and then Ike Howard averaging 9.46. So,
like, if you're playing Ike Howard 9 minutes, send him down.
Just send him down. Let him play and get confidence, become a pro and consistency. And then when he's ready, let's go, kid. There's a spot waiting for you. Those two, I will say, Dusty, when they go out there, at least they look like they're willing to engage. And
Sorry, say that again. Who?
The 2 kids.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm encouraged by that.
Yeah, they don't look like intimidated or afraid. I think Howard's probably trying to catch up to the speed of the league right now.
Yeah.
Savoy's got a year pro under his belt.
Yeah.
That's why he looks a little more comfortable. It's not hard to explain.
No. But I'm encouraged by that and the demeanor and them kind of get that go-getter attitude. That's good. At some point, it's going to turn into results in offense, but it hasn't happened yet. And yeah, so that's a slight positive that at least they seem to be in the right headspace, and the willingness to engage and do all that is there. So I'll give them credit for that.
Stupid Peter text in 780-218-9999. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, or you're watching over on YouTube today, if you're on YouTube, hammer the thumbs up for us. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. And if you're on the other platforms, please just tell your friends how easy it is to listen to our content all day long. Stupid Peter, this might be the most difficult question. Like, this could be one of those questions where the Oilers create some charity and give away $1 million if somebody nails this.
Okay.
What do we honestly think Knobloch does with the lines tomorrow?
Switch them up. What do you think he's gonna do?
Like this is a mind-boggling question.
Right?
What does he do with the lines tomorrow?
Full blender.
Now, Kapanen was banged up.
Yes, he didn't finish. He only played
So
5 minutes.
that could be an easy, hey man, just sit one out. We'll put Tomasic back in.
Sure.
So
yes.
let's play that game. Kapanen, let's say Kapanen comes out. Let's try to guess what the lines are going to be at the morning skate tomorrow. Okay?
I like
let's
this.
see. If you get it right, you win $1 million. $1
million?
$1 million.
Okay, let's
all right,
start. McDavid
so
at center,
Kapanen
top
is
line.
out. Tomasic's back in.
Okay, McDavid, top line center.
That's all we get.
Okay.
That's the only thing.
Okay.
That's the only thing we can possibly guess.
Free bingo square.
All right, so we'll put McDavid, and we have to think like Knobloch here, right?
Okay.
Think like Knobloch. This is not what we would do. The question was,
Knobloch?
what would Knobloch do with the lines tomorrow?
I'm going to go radical.
Okay.
I'll say like Henrique, top line left wing. And I don't even like it.
Part of me wants to say you're a complete idiot. However,
Right.
However, we haven't seen it yet.
Right? That's why I went there.
Let's do it.
I'm like, this is going to be something extreme.
Can you imagine if Henrique is on that line to start skate tomorrow? Now, remember, around here, put an asterisk on it because the lines you see at the skate don't necessarily start the game.
No. You know, if that happens, when that happens, this will be my reaction.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, there it is.
Sure.
All right, so Draisaitl will be your second line center then.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that. All right. Now what?
Okay. I'm trying to go like radical.
You know what? I'm
here.
going to throw this out there.
Please do.
Tomasek is all the way back up with McDavid and Henrique.
Yeah, I was thinking
out of
about
the
that.
lineup.
I love it.
From the basement to the doghouse to penthouse.
Let's go.
That's a popular
Let's
saying.
go, David.
All right, so then you got Tomasek, McDavid, and Henrique. Haven't seen it. Probably going to see it at some point.
Savoy
With Draisaitl.
on the right
Fully
side.
agree. That's where I was going to go as well.
Thank you.
All right, and then Nuge? Or if we're really blowing this up.
Let's blow it up. Pod Colton.
Okay, yes, Pods
Hello.
for sure. Okay.
So now I'm thinking, you just said Nuge, and I'm thinking
So Nuge is with Frederick?
and he's moving his feet. Nuge has been one of the silver linings so far.
Philp is going to be your fourth line center.
Yeah, and he's been good.
Yeah, he's been fine.
He's
That's
been
where
good.
he is, though.
Very, very happy to see him score again. Nice goal yesterday. I think Nuge center, third line.
You know what? I think we're on to something there. Roslovic with Nuge. That's shown a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
And Ike Howard on the left side or Frederick?
I was thinking Frederick, but do you think he would go Howard? Because
I
we're trying
could
to
see him
get
putting
Chris-
Howard with Philp.
okay, because
He only played
how
9
would
minutes.
Knobloch handle it? Oh, that's a good point.
So Nuge, Roslovic, Frederick,
Okay,
Philp, Howard,
and Kapanen's out.
Kapanen's out.
Tomaszek's in.
Who are we missing here? Oh, Mangiapane we don't have in here yet.
You know what? But
Okay, we
we're
gotta
going
switch
crazy.
this
We're
up.
going crazy. We're going crazy.
Okay, if we're going crazy, then I'm Frederick down.
Mangiapane with Nugent.
Frederick down, Mangiapane with
Okay.
Nuge and Roslovic.
Okay.
There you go. This is a line combination that's never been seen. I low-key think this is how they do it in the coach's room, too. What haven't we done yet? Oh, let's go with Henrique up there with McDavid.
They just take magnets with the players' names or numbers and they just throw them on the board. And
Yeah.
be like, oh, let's do that today.
Yeah, this is...
Sure.
You know what? I think tomorrow morning, I'm going to bring in a blender.
Lovely.
I'm going to bring in a blender. We're going to blend it.
Okay.
And then we're going to reach in and grab lines. And let's see how it goes.
And we'll be super close to what actually ends up on the ice.
I don't
in
think it
Ottawa.
could be anything different.
People are loving this.
All right, so McDavid with Tomasek and Henrique.
Yep.
Draisaitl with Savoy and Podkolzin. Nuge with Roslovic and Mangiapane. Philp with Howard and Frederick. I don't want it, to be honest with you, I don't mind it.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Okay, now what we're going to do, same question, but for the second period.
Oh, God. I'm already spent. My energy levels are low after that.
Yeah. But we got it done, though. I mean, I think we sort of sorted it out.
I enjoyed that, though. That was fun.
Rip C. Step says, someone is losing a finger tomorrow morning. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big blender guy. I've used a blender like 6 times in my life.
I've got a Ninja at home. It's awesome.
Really?
Yeah. Very, very good.
Yeah, that is pretty impressive.
Thank you.
I should at least get a blender sound effect for when we do line combinations on the Nielsen show now.
Yeah.
Hey.
Or bingo balls, one or the other.
Yeah,
Or both.
bingo balls. That's a good one,
Yeah.
too. Yeah. Actually, maybe we do bingo balls. I'd always want one of those bingo ball things that you circle around and then it pops out.
Yeah.
You got all the forwards in there and then
Blows the air up and
yeah. That's a fancy one.
Those are
You're
neat.
talking like draft lottery.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking like church bingo where you
roll the
thing and then it just pops out.
Yep,
it rolls into the little slot. That could be something as well.
That's fun.
YCC, no flames for me. He says, most disappointing Oiler forward so far this season, ? He says, for him, it's Frederick.
That's understandable. You want more from him.
I mean, he scored more than 97. Just
Insane.
saying.
Yeah,
I
no,
just
that's
pointed it out.
It took 48 minutes, but I'm just going to bring it up. Maybe the guy that stirs this team's drink is my boy.
Shut up. No.
Your face just now.
It took me 1 second to realize where you're going. You're like, to stir the drink. I was just like, what? Who's he thinking? And then he goes, my boy. And I was just like,
your eyes squinted and you looked like you were in such pain in that moment when you're just like, shut up.
No. They're not missing Matthias Janmark this much. However, I am very curious to see what the lineup looks like when Hyman and Janmark return.
Yeah. Whatever.
You know what? That's probably when Howard goes down.
I think so.
And Lazar probably gets waived, doesn't get claimed, goes down.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I really like Laser. He's a great guy.
Nice to see him score a goal against his former team too.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, I guess.
Oh.
When a player that you have scores a goal against their former team. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, he did it when it was irrelevant, but he did it.
Luke in Cowtown says, Philp scored a goal, so doesn't that mean he sits? Not this time. I'll say this. I mean, I think Stoff probably loves Philp as much as I love my kids.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
If Knobloch were to scratch Philp next game, I think Stoff might Homer Simpson choke him on the bus after the game.
Who does he love more, Knobloch or Philp? Because Stoff I remember the 2015 draft. Stoff gave his Oilers TV Under Armour golf polo that I had designed and got for him to Chris Knobloch because he was Knobloch's boy.
Really?
Or Knobloch is his boy. Yeah.
Stoff hadn't worn it already, had he?
No, it was brand new. He didn't like it. It was bright orange.
Yeah.
And
some of us don't like the bright orange shirts. So yeah,
Anyway.
I mean, he's always loved it. Yeah, those are both his guys.
Yeah, so
So
that
it
would
must
be like
break Stoff's heart when Knobloch scratches Philp after he scores a goal. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Stoff must have been like, ugh. It was
I
funny
can't be
because
mad at
I was
it.
listening to the call yesterday. If I was Mooner, I would have slapped Stoff upside the head because there was on the Philp goal.
Yeah.
Shot, tip, and Mooner's like, scores! And Stoff like, Noah Philp. And I was like, shut up! Mooner's calling the goal, man.
Let him.
What are you doing? Like, if I was Mooner, I would have been like, stop, what are you doing? Let me call it.
Mooner's too nice.
Yeah, Mooner is too nice. I mean, that's good. Stupid Peter's back in and says, let's play a game when the team is fully healthy. Not today. Not today, Stupid Peter. We've already played the line combination game today.
God. I feel stupid after playing it, but it was fun.
Yeah, but what's crazy is
That has a chance.
I could see this.
Right. This has been a fun show. It's flown by. I'm still laughing at you. You should just look at me. Shut up.
Well, I mean, we say some pretty ridiculous things on the oil stream every once in a while. But for you trying to even joke that Janmark being out is the reason they've got off to a slow start it's despicable to me. It's disgusting.
That image is going to be forever etched in my memory. Oh, God. Well played, sir.
Loomis over in the chat says, if Philp gets scratched, I may be taking a break from the Oilers for a bit. It legit wouldn't surprise me, but mother of God, that would be insane. Yeah, you can't. It was a nice tip. Yeah. He's not putting his team in any bad spots. I mean, Philp will be in the lineup next game. There's no chance that he, well, I probably shouldn't say that, but there's very slim chance that would happen before the next game, I would think. Mark Lanigan over on the chat on YouTube says, Knobloch spins the wheel and it lands on Savoy to play with McDavid. He says, no, that's wrong, and spins again. Land on Philp. He says, no, he scored last game. Spins again. Continues to go in that fashion. So, look, man, they have a chance here to salvage respectability on this road trip by beating Ottawa.
Yeah.
It'll still be a disappointing road trip, but at least it won't be a god-awful disaster.
That's true.
If they go and lose to Ottawa and they come home 1-4 on the road trip and their only win Stuart Skinner had to steal, that's an all-time bad road trip. Like 2 of a possible 10 points? That's an ugly one.
And like, listen, even points aside, the way in which they've played, and then if you're hypothetically saying they play another type of game like we saw yesterday and Saturday and Thursday and Tuesday, for crying out loud, that to me is it's not even the lack of points that I'd be most disappointed about. It's just how they're not able to put together decent games. That is alarming. So if they don't clean it up tomorrow and they play another crappy game, listless, no spark, I'm legit worried. Because it shouldn't be, you're supposed to have jump at the start of the season, Dusty. And I know they played a lot of hockey, and I know some of them are tired, but there was such a good vibe around that group in the preseason and training camp and the first couple games, and it's just like, where did that go? You had it a week ago.
I got a text from Reed Wilkins this morning.
I know him.
Texted us 8:30. He does a show here every day from 3 to 6 called The Reed Wilkins Show with Glue Guy. Where is it here? Yeah. He said, text me at 8:24. We were talking to Oilers. Do you think the Oilers are distracted by not having McDavid contract talk as a distraction?
Oh, he is feisty. Reed is feisty. And I like it. I'm here for it.
It should be a good show today.
Yeah.
The fun is going to continue at EST afternoons coming up from 1 until 3. The Reed Wilkins Show from 3 until 6. And then tomorrow night, Oilers game.
Hudson's White.
Hudson's on White. If you would like to join Tommy, that would be a good time at Hudson's on White. It always is for the pre and post game of the Oilers and the Sens. What time will that one get going?
That one,
that's like,
yeah. My goodness.
That's like a get out of work a little bit early.
We are on the air at 4.
Okay. So finish work, whip by Hudson's, watch the game, and Tommy will have post game there to follow. And then Wednesday, we are at the Capilano Boston Pizza for Lock Shop and Oil Stream. We'd love to see you out there. Swing on by, buy you a beverage if you come in. So yeah, we'd love to see Capilano Boston Pizza Wednesday for Lock Shop and Oil Stream live on location. It is the Boston Pizza Oil Stream. Zacticum, what's coming up on EST afternoons, buddy?
Gager and Salas will dive deep into the Oilers' tough weekend.
They're going to get a little fired up. I can tell.
Yeah, for sure.
Hernan's pacing around here like a cat at the SPCA.
Oh
yeah. He was not happy, and we're gonna have highlights, lowlights. Well, all lowlights.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
just the lowlight segment.
Yeah. Putting the spotlight on the big blunders from the Oilers weekend. Derek Van Diest from NHL.com will be checking it as well, and Tyson Shuskowicz.
Nice.
An editor at Blue Jays Nation to set the table for tonight's Game 7 in ALCS, baby. Let's go.
Game 7 tonight. Enjoy that. If you want to watch Game 7, head on out to Selly Sports Bar and Lounge. LT will be set up there for Monday Night Football and, of course, the Blue Jays game, so that could be a good time for you as well. All right, that's going to do it for a pretty fun and spicy edition of the Boston Pizza Oil Stream. EST Afternoons is on the way. If you're watching on YouTube, great Oilers chat continues, and, of course, continue to get you set for a big Game 7 tonight, just the second Game 7 in Blue Jays franchise history. So turn on autoplay on YouTube. We'll take you right on over to that show when it starts. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart or at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, that is also coming up here right away. EST Afternoons into the Smash Hit Reed Wilkins Show as well. For Tommy Gazzola, I am Dustin Nielson. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock. Take it easy.